Hey everybody, what's going on? This is TwoHeadedFlounder. Welcome back to another post-rotation deck profile. As you can see, we have a change of pace here. We're on TCGO. It does look a lot cleaner. The only thing I will say is I prefer doing it by camera. It's just something special about it, and the fact that you don't have it all laid out in front of you right away. But, you know, due to complications, we're going over to TCGO for a bit until I can up the quality on the whole camcorder situation. So here we are. This is a deck requested by roughly 52 TCG. He has his own YouTube channel. If you guys want to go check it out, I did. And some pretty cool content on there, so I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. But he requested a Leafeon Decidueye post-rotation deck, so here we are. Obviously, the idea here is to use leafeon-gx's GX attack, Ranbloom-GX, to evolve all of our Pokemon as soon as we can. So we're going to want to load up our bench with evolution guys and then use the attack and then evolve into their next stage. So if we have an Eevee on the bench, a Zoroark on the bench, and a Rowlet on the bench, they'll each effectively become Leafeon, Zoroark, and Dartrix. So it's a really cool attack. The only problem is it's a GX attack, so you can only use it once. So what we really need to do is get this attack off turn 1. And it's a lot more difficult thanks to the loss of cards such as Bridget, because turn 1 Bridget would allow you to essentially fill up your entire bench, and then you could go to town and just evolve everything right up, and that was the dream. Well, we've lost Bridget. What we have now is Fan Club. Fan Club is for 2 Pokemon. It is not 3, so it's a lot more difficult to successfully have a good first turn Ranbloom-GX. But there's not really a reason why this can't be a deck. Not until really the next set is released, I think fire types aren't really going to see much play. Macargo, super strong, and Blaziken, super strong, but not until we have the next set. So there is some middle room right now for a lot of different grass decks to really strive. So here we are. So obviously we're playing 3 copies of Eevee. We want to try and open up with it if possible. If we can't, then you know we want to play as many copies, but we don't want to play 4. It's kind of one of those weird situations. So a 3-2 line seems pretty good. Of course, you attach a grass energy to them. You get to evolve into Leafeon immediately. Also has the quick draw attack, so that could possibly do something for you later on. Leafeon-GX, fantastic card overall. I really do enjoy this one. Breath of the Leaves. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, once during your turn, you may heal 50 damage for one of your Pokemon that has any grass energy attached to it. So of course, we can heal this, we can heal literally anything, just as long as the grass energy attached to it, and that's super solid. Solar Beam does 110 damage. You know, it's some solid damage. It's stronger than Decidueye's attack for the same energy cost, so preferably we want to use Solar Beam over Decidueye's actual attack. But Decidueye does have more HP, so it gets into those one of those weird situations where, like, do you use the guy with more HP but is weaker, or vice versa? So we're playing a 2-2 line of Zoroark. We need draw consistency. There's no Octillery. Oranguru is just not enough. We need to really delve deep into this deck and try and pull out something to use. So not only is Zoroark a good middle ground because of the double colorless attack cost, which means we have a 1 energy attacker, which is definitely something we really want, but we have that also synergistic trade ability for the deck. So there's not really a whole lot of room for a whole Zoroark line, but we kind of need something in this deck. So a 2-2 line there. And of course, we have a 4-4 line of Decidueye-GX. Of course, having the amazing ability Feather Arrow. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If we have 4 of these in play, we're putting 8 damage counters in play every single turn. That's beautiful. It really is. It's fantastic. Razor Leaf, though, not really an attack we want to use. Not so much. It's very costly, and it doesn't do too much damage. I understand why it doesn't do too much damage, because we have Feather Arrow, and the idea here is to put a lot of damage and then do some damage, but If we can avoid it, we're going to try and not ever use Decidueye to attack. Of course, we're going to have to eventually at some point, but we're going to avoid it for as long as possible. Hunt-GX, you're probably not ever going to be using this one because you're trying to use Grand Bloom. But I do like this one a lot. If you can avoid using Grand Bloom and you want to play it out, Decidueye will let you put 3 cards from your discard pile into your hand. So, if you're running low on those double colorless energies, you get them right back. If you need a supporter, anything along those lines, maybe you need another Pokemon back, you got it. And I do personally like Hunt-GX a lot more than Grand Bloom. So, hey, if you don't manage to get the turn 1 Grand Bloom, then I guess maybe you can Hunt somewhere along the lines. Quick mention to Dartrix. Sharp Blade Quill will do 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. It's a snipe attack, does 20 damage for a single energy, so that's great. So we're playing a copy of the promo Taboo Lele. I figured, why not keep the theme of the deck? You could also replace this, honestly, with Shining Lugia, same kind of thing. I just figured, because we're basically trying to do Grand Bloom immediately, why not try Taboo Lele? Pretty much same thing as Lugia, except it has a cheaper attack, which will actually let you heal. But yeah, if you have used your GX attack, this attack does 60 more damage, so it'll do 120. And all you have to do is Grand Bloom. So this is going to be our safeguard Pokemon counter. So pretty much Hoopa and Alolan Ninetales are really not going to be able to stop us. Also, we have some other guys. Again, Dartrix can do some damage. I know it's not a whole lot, but we can do Ram with Zorua. Next up, we have Taboo Lele Gx. So, of course, we mention this all the time. This is one of those cards you just have to play. Playing 2 copies. Would have liked the 3rd copy in this deck. Honestly, there's just no room. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may search your deck for a supporter card. Fantastic ability. We need this. This is going to help us do things, especially early turn, because we want to first turn Fan Club. Energy Drive, double colorless attack, just a good solid 1 energy attacker. It's not the most powerful Pokemon in the game, but in conjunction with Decidueyes and Feather Arrows, it might actually be able to do something. So, Energy Drive, fantastic attack. So, moving on to the weird techie stuff. We got Multi-Switch. I kind of feel like Multi-Switch is just really good. So, the idea here is, if we're ever playing a deck that has this kind of energy cost, like a basic energy cost and then double colorless following it, I feel like that Multi-Switch is just super good. Those 3 energy attackers are going to take at least 2 turns to 3 turns to set up, which can definitely be very difficult to do. So, Multi-Switch is just a nice middle ground, being like, well, I don't have enough energy, but I do have double colorless on the bench, so if I do promote him to the active spot, I can move the double colorless up to here. Then I only have to attach another double colorless to Zoroark-GX as opposed to attaching more energy next turn to my active. You get the point. I really like this card. It works super well in Zoroark Lycanroc. I don't know why it can't really work anywhere else either. I really do like it a whole lot. Playing 2 copy of Nest Ball because we need basics in play. I honestly, if there was room, I'd be playing 4 of them. We need to get these basics in play turn 1 for Grand Bloom to really take effect. But there's not really a whole lot of room here. Next up, we have a copy of Palpad. I play this in all my decks. You might not like it. I do. I don't know where that accent came from, but whatever. Shuffle 2 supporter cards from your discard pile into your deck. It's just great for reusing things like Cynthia, Acerola, Guzma. Probably never going to use Fan Club again, but we are actually playing Tantaliza in this deck, so I think it's very useful for getting Tantaliza, honestly, the most. So next up, we have Rescue Stretcher. You get to either put a Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand or shuffle 3 into your deck. Just great, and it's going to allow us to maybe get more Decidueye in play because we might have to discard some. 4 copies of Ultra Ball because, of course, we need to grab Lele turn 1, but also we need to grab other Pokemon, obviously. Acerola. So Acerola is very important because there's a pretty high retreat cost in this deck. There's 2, 2, 2, 2, and 1. So you're not really going to want to be scooping up Decidueye because we're not playing any rare candy. So it's going to take a while to get that back in. But you have to do what you have to do. If it gets stranded in the active spot, you have no double colorless on your left in your deck, you're going to have to scoop it up. Same thing for Zoroark. Also, just preventing your Pokemon from getting knocked out is always a great thing. This is mainly more for Lele's and the stage 1s or basics. But if we have to use it on Decidueye, we have to use it on Decidueye. 4 copies of Cynthia. It's the best draw support, so we have to max out on all the copies of that. 3 copies of Guzma. So again, I know Decidueye is one of those decks where you really just can rely on 2 Guzma in the deck and be fine. And we are playing Palpad. However, that whole retreat thing, we do not want Decidueye in the active spot. And thanks to its ability, we can also spread damage while also removing our opponent's active. Maybe our opponent's active has about 50 HP left, but we have 3 Decidueye in play. Well, we can snipe it anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. So if we can pull up something that we actually want to attack and then snipe the bench, it could be a couple good series of plays right there. Playing 2 copies of Lily. You could drop this down to 1 if you really wanted to. I feel like if you can open up with this and you can play your hand down turn 1 and there just was no opportunity for you to Ultra Ball for Lele and get Pokemon Fan Club, probably the best opening supporter you can use. I mean, honestly, I prefer Lily turn 1 to Cynthia, always. I mean, there have been situations where I'm like, this is a terrible hand. You know, Cynthia would have been better, but for the most part, I'd rather have Lily turn 1 opening hand, and just for the rest of the game, if anything, you can use it for trade fodder, or you can get up to 6 and then start trading. I think Lily is pretty good. So, of course, we are playing 2 copies of Fan Club because we really need to ensure that we get it. It increases our chance of turn 1 without having to Lele for it. Also, in case one's prized. And then, of course, we can trade it away later. Or maybe we can have turn 1 Fan Club, turn 2 Fan Club if we really needed to. So, Tate and Liza. I think that this card is super good. I've heard mixed opinions on it because it's literally Shauna and also Switch. But the versatility there is just too useful to pass up. Again, we have these high retreat cost guys. If we can't avoid having to remove energy to retreat them, we don't have Floatstone. Instead of playing Switch, why not a reusable Switch with Palpad? I just really like this card a whole lot. And we're playing 2 copies of it. Playing 1 copy Choice Band. Obviously, I'd like to play more. There's just no room. So, we want this for the extra damage output. If you can honestly find some wiggle room here, drop a card, put another Choice Band in. Maybe you don't like the multi-switch option. Maybe you can drop both of those, put some Choice Bands in. Hey. But, yeah, we definitely need at least 1 copy of this because it's too good to not use. Lastly, we get into our energy. Of course, we're playing 4 double colorless. It's the bread and butter to all the decks because double colorless is the best energy. And we're playing 7 grass energy. You could cut this down to 6. I'm playing 7 because I am probably going to be using Leafeon to attack. We want that turn 1 grass energy guaranteed to energy evolution. But I could definitely see running 6. I'm just trying to get the most optimal outcome for actually hitting turn 1 energy evolution, which would be with 7. So that's my list. Again, you could either like drop this, put this up 1 if you really wanted. You could drop one of these. You could honestly do whatever. whatever makes you happy, whatever is your personal preference for how you play decks. But this is what I've come up with. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, stick around for more deck profiles in the near future. And until then, I will see you all next time.